Hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Thank you for being here. My name is Alejandra Jasso, and I am your host of this series, Bringing Wisdom to Life. And I'm very excited to introduce to you the teacher of this session, Eva Balzer. She's an amazing teacher, and hi, Eva. And she will give us a very interesting topic today. Happy mind, happy body. Who doesn't have um, questions about how to have those two, um, mind and body in peace? So I'm very, very interested and hear what Eva has to say and what she will teach us. Thank you, Eva, for being here.
Thank you so much, Alejandra. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here with you. Let me just change this quickly. Okay. So today, thank you for having me back. I'm very happy to be back with a new issue, which is happy body, happy mind. I will explain to you later why I would actually call it that way. One quote appeared in my mind today, which was, "Beauty is in the eye of the beholder." And that is so true when we understand the pen. So let's have a look at that. My idea for today is, let's talk about the seeds, how we can see ourselves as beautiful. I will mainly focus on weight issues, but the same goes if you don't like your nose or your thighs. It's the same thing, okay? I'll give you a quick introduction, and please think of questions, because it would be cool if we use the second half for discussion, because I feel you learn most from a direct interaction. So please think of questions, write it in the chat when I'm done, and then we can discuss. The first issue I wanted to raise is that actually a Dharma issue? Isn't that terribly self-centered, wanting to be beautiful? And I think it's a very important Dharma issue, actually. It's very crucial that we like ourselves when we look into the mirror, because only then we are happy. And only when we're happy, we can actually serve the world in the best possible manner. So for me, this is not self-centered at all. I think it's important to find a way to discover the beauty in yourself, because it will lead the way to the beauty of the world. Okay, so that's just the first thing. So I brought some charts, as always. Let me see whether that works. This is my first chart. The pen story, which is all about the emptiness of things and people, implies that how we see ourselves, what we see when we look into the mirror, also comes from seeds. Those seeds that we planted in the past by how we treated others. And they open, and I throw a picture in the mirror, and I see myself as beautiful or not. It's true, because we pretty much look every day the same. But one day you look into the mirror and you go like, God, I'm so beautiful. Next day, you look into the mirror and you think, God, this is so terrible. So it is not objective, right? It is in the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's what seeds you throw onto the mirror image. If that's the case, then that means we can change our perception by changing our behavior, right? And so that's the thing I want to discuss with you. I mean, you know that already, but just to establish that, how we see ourselves is a result of how we have treated other people in the past. Okay, so how do we plant it? Now we're here. The first thing I want to encourage you is to find a karmic partner. I have had a karmic partner for 8 years for the issue of lightness. And I'm very happy to say she's actually translating the German today. And I'm very, very grateful for Janine, because I would not have had my results without her. So that's really cool. So we're doing this together in a way. And many of the things I tell you is something I've learned in those past years. So, you know, it's basically you have to define what you want. And you see, beauty can mean all kinds of things. For me, it was lightness. We talked about it. And for me, my life was hard. It was always a fight. I felt heavy. I was heavy, you know, in terms of weighing heavy. And that killed me. And I wanted to feel lightness. That was my main thing. So we worked on that. So you have a karmic partner. We have met for the past 8 years, literally almost every week. And we help each other to achieve our goals. And basically, that's what you need to do. I don't think it works without that. And I can only tell you it is one of the most fulfilling things that you can do. You have to find out what you want, though. You know, perhaps for you, it's something else. And you have to define what it is. And then think about the seeds you want to plant. Okay, so in my case, I wanted to plant seeds for lightness and for healthy eating. Because for me, it was, on the one hand, the lightness. On the other hand, I had a big issue with being, keeping my promises. I will come back to this later. Because in the morning, I would say, I will not eat chocolate this afternoon. And at 4 o'clock, my promise was worth nothing and I would eat chocolate. And I really wanted to have a different relationship to food and a less addictive relationship. For me, it was also about not being addicted and being free of this urge to do something that I don't want to do. So those two things it was for me. And I planted lightness, for example, by carrying the suitcases of other people. I remember I was on a job and there was someone with a heavy suitcase. I was like, let me carry that for you. Yeah, you can lift burdens of other people by helping them, by giving them money if they need something, by doing the housework and saying, oh, because I cleaned the toilet, no one else has to clean the toilet. These kind of things you can do, and then you dedicate that to your lightness. I also think that helping lamas, because they're high karmic objects, is a game changer. Because by doing by helping them organize something, for example, you lift the burden of them because you say, Lama, I do it for you, don't worry. And then that you can also dedicate to lightness. And you can just play around with this, you know, explore the semantic field. What does lightness mean for you? And how can you give it to someone else? And you can discuss it with your karmic partner. With the healthy eating, I think that's worth doing. So for example, I used to give chocolate away. I don't give chocolate away anymore. Because, you know, you're going to get chocolate and then you eat it. So it's a good idea to be very aware of what you give to other people. In Germany, it's very common to give chocolate away, and I just don't do it anymore. in the kindergarten, when Emma had her parties, we would always be the ones who bring the vegetable or the fruit. So if you give other people healthy eating, particularly children, I think that's a really cool seed also. Okay. Now, I think, yeah, let's look at the guy. This is a very famous correlation from Aya Nagarjuna. And Aya Nagarjuna said, if you want to feel beautiful, you have to be patient. And that means not getting angry like this guy. Because when you are angry, I mean, you can see it here, you make a funny face. And that makes you ugly. It plants the seed for looking into the mirror and thinking you're ugly. Also, I think when we make a face like this, we are angry at someone. And in that moment, we don't see this person as holy or an angel. We see them as ugly. You know, we see other people as not beautiful in their mind and how they are. And that's exactly what comes back to us. If you go around the world thinking about looking for the beauty in others and seeing the beauty in others and appreciating them, not getting angry when they do funny things that come from your seeds, that is the perfect beauty farm treatment. You know, you can save a lot of money on cosmetics if you learn to see the beauty in people. And I think that's one really important thing that we should try. What I also wanted to say, because that's obviously a very extreme form, anger is like, I'm very angry. But if you look at lower forms of that, that would be virtue number 6 for me, which is not speaking friendly, which often means you criticize other people. You find faults in other people. You look around, you say, this person has done this. And that plants a seed that when we look into the mirror, we find faults in ourselves. It emphasizes the faults. Because we have judged others, because that's what it is, we judge ourselves. And we might be afraid of others judging us. Yeah, you go somewhere on a party and you're afraid people might think you're not beautiful or fat or whatever. That comes not from the way you look, but from criticizing others in the past. I know a lot of people, apparently, who weigh much more than me and think they're the most beautiful creature on the planet. You know, beauty is not an objective thing. It is a result of seeds. So if you have an issue with this, whether it be weight or nose, I can strongly recommend to watch how you view others and try to see the beauty in them, appreciate people, and understanding where they're coming from. I think that's the ultimate beauty seed. Okay. Okay, I have more. You might also want to check virtue number 8, which is jealousy. You might not think you have an issue with it, but jealousy is a very tricky virtue. Scripture says that if you are jealous, you plant the seed that your personality is dominated by desire, which is for me what it does. I'm craving for food in the hope that it will give me something that is not in the food. But I hope it will give me satisfaction and then one chocolate might do, and the fifth chocolate doesn't do it anymore. So quite obviously, the satisfaction is not in the chocolate. But I'm still craving for things. And I want also things that other people have. So check whether you have an issue with jealousy. My tip is, because it's, as I said, I don't think I have a big issue with jealousy, but how I can relate to it is that I see someone having something like a beautiful relationship. And I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. I also want a beautiful relationship. And I would try to separate those two because they have nothing to do with each other. I can say, oh, my friend has a beautiful relationship. I am so happy that I have the seeds to see that they have the seeds to experience it. My God, is that cool? Full stops, change the subject. Stop and change the subject. Don't go to yourself. Just stay there. And then 2 hours later, you can say, God, I really want a beautiful relationship. I better go and help a lonely person so I can have a beautiful partner. So try to just enjoy that other people have something great without relating it to you. Because in that's just not relevant. And if you do that, you can, make sure you don't plant any seeds that cause you to crave, which is what we don't want to have. Now, I think I will stop this for a second. Let's see you, that's nice. Okay, so we have virtue number 6 and virtue number 8. And I just tell you from my experience, and please give me your experiences so we can talk about it. The third virtue that I think is worth checking is virtue number 7, which is useless talk. For me, weight was the most frustrating issue in my life. I said, I can do anything but lose weight. I'm capable of doing anything, but I cannot lose weight. It was so frustrating. I would promise myself something in the morning and break my promise at 4 o'clock, day after day after day. And then what happens? You think you're stupid. You doubt yourself. You go like, why am I doing this? This is crazy. So that's why Janine and we actually wrote a little booklet. And that's called Happy Body, Happy Mind. Because in German, unfortunately, because if you're unhappy with how you look and you don't know about seeds, you get in terrible circles of frustration that are worse than how you feel you look. Because you don't trust yourself. I had no trust in myself. I could not understand why I was not able to do that. And every day I would plant new seeds, which has a lot of negative consequences in other aspects of your life also. And I want to share with you what helped me a lot. This is about the clue to change that, for me, is to understand the emptiness of yourself. Because if you think you are in control and you can decide what to do, then it's okay to criticize yourself. But understanding the pen means to understand that we are actually not in control. And it's not about deciding. And that helped me so much. Because then I'm not stupid. I just have bad habits because of how I treated other people in the past. That is such a relief. I tell you, for me, it's a total game changer. So I understand that if I cannot keep my promise at 4 o'clock, that's because I have a bad habit of not keeping promises. That's all. It says nothing about me being bad. It's not a failure. It's just a seed. Can I change the present in the present? Geshe always says, no, we cannot. When seeds go up, you cannot push them back down to the ground. So to understand that wishing, I mean, that's the thing in the pen story, right? We say, let's wish this is a diamond, not working. It's the same thing, but we hear the story, but then we think we can decide what to do. And that's absurd, right? We are, I call it a seed box, a collection of seeds of our past behavior. And whether I'm able to say, no, thank you, no, I don't want the cake, or not, is a result of seeds, that's all. And so the most important thing here for me, I just helped someone this morning who was in a very bad shape and crying a lot because she thought she was so disappointed in herself that she didn't do what she wanted to do. And she was hammering, I really should read more Dharma and help people. And I said, you have to understand that if you're depressed today, that's a result. It is not who you are. It is not who. And she stopped crying and was happy ever after, I hear from the rest of the family. It really makes a difference to understand who we are. And there's no self-existing Eva who can fail. There are seeds that are opening, which why everything is possible. And I'm so grateful for Geshe Michael that he teaches us the emptiness of things and people, because that's the only way we can change. So the first thing is to understand that and not to, judge yourself. Okay, I had that chocolate. I know I have seeds. Fuck it. I'm still happy. It's no point. You have to stop criticizing yourself for things that are not under your control. Because then you are so paralyzed that you need another chocolate. It's crazy. It's the picture I had here for you. Let me just show you that. Just wanted to explain it first. You have to stop the cycle by understand the emptiness of you. Don't go down the steps. So what can you do? I give you things to do. I'm not saying we cannot do anything. I'm just saying we shouldn't criticize ourselves. So what can you do? See, yeah. What we know from scripture is that everything we do plants a habit. Geshe always says not a conventional habit, a karmic habit, which is much stronger. So in a situation, like for me, I could hardly breathe because I felt so terrible about me not keeping my promise. So I went to Janine and said, I have to promise you something that I can keep. So just today, I promise you, my life depends on it. Today, I will not eat chocolate. Once you made that promise, you have to keep it. Because your life does depend on it. The rest of the week, eat chocolate as much as you like. I don't care. But don't say you won't. Just trick yourself. Promise, for example, I go to the post office today. I need to bring something away. It's been lying for 2 days. Today I will go. Once you made that promise, damn it, go to the post office. You have to keep that promise. Today I will cook food for my children. Cook food for your children. Today I will scratch my head. Scratch your head. You kept a promise. Make something small and keep it. That plants a habit of being reliable. And then you say, then you're happy about it. You rejoice it. And you dedicate it to your food habits. Right? So you promise something, you plant a new habit of keeping promises. You keep it, you're happy, you dedicate it to your food habits. And Janine and I can tell you that works. And it's extremely satisfying. Because this thought of being a total idiot and failure goes away. And that's a big help. You can also, and that's the other thing, delay. That's a big thing. Geshe talks about it all the time. Delay. So this is me. I've had a bad day. I feel I need comfort food. I didn't promise not to eat comfort food today. But obviously I want to avoid kind of eating for psychological reasons. But I know I cannot not do it today. So I see the chocolate and say, I'll come back in 5 minutes. I come back, I don't know. Keep it away for 3 seconds. Seriously, keep it away for 3 seconds. Then eat it. What that will do is plant a new habit. It's magical. You can rely on it. I had, Janine knows about this, a situation on a business trip. I bought a chocolate croissant at the train station. And I went like, I have to eat it on the platform. And like, let's push it. Let's eat it in the train. Waited, went into the train. Let's eat it in an hour. And I kept on pushing it. And I came home and I hadn't eaten it. And that was a result of me having pushed it before quite often in the past. 5 seconds, 1 minute. If it's true, we cannot decide to be someone else. I cannot decide to be a person without addiction to food. But I can plant that. That means we need a bit of patience and a long breath. You're not going to be someone else tomorrow. It's just not going to happen. But you can definitely 1,000% trust the process. So I recommend to do that, to push things away. I mean, this is how I not only helped me with eating, which I really feel today it is very seldom that I have to compensate with food. I don't actually think I look much different than 7 years ago. But when I look into the mirror, I see someone else. And I also changed my cigarette habits that way. I used to smoke 40 cigarettes a day for 25 years. It was almost impossible to stop. Impossible. I would smoke when I had throat ache. I couldn't. Same thing. So for any addiction, you delay and you trust the process. And I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked in, I don't know, a long time, 8 years or something, or 9. And it's like I've never smoked. It's crazy. It's like I've never smoked. So you can change yourself and be someone totally different, but not tomorrow. And you do have to trust the process. And in between, and this is my last picture, and then you can give me your thoughts. So the last tip I have for you is, in this system, you have to follow the joy. Always. It's impossible. If you don't follow your bliss and the happiness and the joy, you will not get there. So in our case, that means I wanted to control my chocolate. I couldn't do it today, but I delayed for 5 seconds. I'm happy about the 5 seconds. I forget the rest. I put the focus on the small steps. I don't put the focus on my failures. I just don't. Because it's no point. It doesn't help anyone. So whatever you do, please remember that if you shouted at your daughter and you think you're stupid and you know it was stupid, just regret it and, be happy that you noticed. Yeah. You can eat the chocolate. I mean, the chocolate just is a metaphor here, right? Metaphor. I'm actually not that much into chocolate, but it's a classical thing. I'm more into the fatty food stuff. But, as a metaphor, you can eat it, but you delay it. And even if you couldn't delay it, you're happy that you know what's happening. Whatever you do, focus on the joy. Focus on your wisdom. Focus that you are aware of what's happening, that you didn't have the seeds for it now, but you plant a new habit and it will change. It must change, because these laws, the Buddhist ideas, are based on logic and causality. So just relax, be happy, and go small steps to your perfect body, to a happy mind, and to a beautiful picture that you see in the mirror, hopefully every day. Okay. This time I didn't want to give you too much in advance, because I really do think that debate helps you most. So, sorry. Ananda, do you want to... Do we have any questions? Or what is your addiction? What are you struggling with? I'll give you a second to digest.
If you have a question, you can open your microphone or type it in the chat, and we will read it for you. Alona, how we can plan the possibilities to make choices?
Nice questions. Now we get some questions. Good. So we follow our old scriptures, which say like makes like. So how can we plan the possibility to make choices? I don't think you can plan choices, but you can plan reliability. Because of the seed idea, you can never make choices in that way. But if you mean like, I want to do the right thing when it's important, then you could help your partner or your child to be reliable. So say my child says, I want to actually do my piano exercise every day. I can just remind her and say, did you do your piano exercise today? And then, oh, she says, no, I didn't. I said, why don't you? And then she keeps her promise to herself, so I can help other people. Or I can, make small promises to myself and keep it. I'm going to scratch my head. I scratched my head. I kept a promise. That's my take. If someone is of a different opinion, I don't think we can plan to be able to make choices. Okay, shall I go to the next question? How can we change anything if we are tied with past actions? Nice. We can do things. Okay, I am not saying we are helpless, whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in the present, how well I'm able to keep my promise is a result of how well I've kept my promises in the past. So I am tied to my past actions, yes. But I have seeds, I have seeds to notice that. And I have seeds, I have wisdom. Thanks to our lamas, we have this incredible wisdom. And then I fight. I put up a fight. I try. And that plants the most powerful seeds. I just try. So I'm not helpless. I can try in this moment. If I succeed, then that means I have good seeds. Yeah, I have good seeds. And then I develop those. So if I have choice in the present, then that's a positive seeds. If I'm very tied, sometimes people, like say, people who are addicted to being sad, or depressed, they wake up and they cannot see any beauty at all because they don't have the seeds for it. But if they understand the pen and you want to help them, you just give them something they can do, like give a flower to someone else. And that slowly will plant the seeds for them being able to be more able to help themselves. Right? It's a process. So yes, we're tired, but it doesn't mean we cannot do anything. We can do anything. That's a paradox, right? We can become a totally different person who is not addicted at all. If we now behave differently than we did in the past. And we can do that because we understand the pen. Okay. I read you the next question, right? I was very jealous and had the addiction habit to lie. Now my partner, love of my life, thinks he needs to leave me. He actually broke up. Shit, I'm really sorry. Because he thinks he cannot trust me. Is there a fast way for me to get out of this additional to what you just explained? Well, thank you for being so clear and understanding that. I think it's really cool. He cannot trust you. That's what he says, right? So you're projecting someone. Okay, that's lying. That's because you lied. Well, what I would do if I was you is first do the 4 forces. Do a little fire puja, just do the 4 forces. Oh, I've lied in the past. That was, not really smart. I'm really, really sorry about that. It's an intelligent regret. That's what gives me the consequences now. I do think I should not do this in the future. I promise to remain absolute honesty to every living being. And I do something to counteract that. So perhaps you want to, I can't think of an organization now who would be useful. But an organization who does something about lying or being untruthful in the world. So find something where you can counteract that thing. So I would do the 4 forces and I would power rejoice everything where you were truthful and said the truth. Those 2 things. But then I would let go. Okay, it's very important not to be attached to this situation now. If your seeds allow, then he will change his mind. If not, just go to an elderly home, share your time with someone lonely, and then someone else will come along. It's good to try. I understand that, but you have to let go of the results. Because sometimes seeds go around quickly and sometimes they take longer, depending on what's in your seed box. Right? So I would try that and see what happens. Keep on planting. It might take a while. Perhaps he comes back in a month. Just try that, okay? Okay. Do you have any other issues with the whole food? Anyone into cosmetic operations?
I
Oh,
have a
you know that.
question.
Okay, you do. Yeah, go ahead.
I just a few weeks ago I realized that somebody else actually made me realize that my children eating habits are not very good. He used to be a very good eater. Now he's a picky eater. And like a lot of things like he doesn't eat and even try. And I was wondering, I don't know why he doesn't try a particular food. And my mother-in-law made me realize that it's because I don't eat um, that specific food. So I started to think about like how my actions are like actually planting a lot of strong seeds in his healthy eating. But sometimes people said, choose your battles. Like with a kid working from home, um, I cook, but then he doesn't want to eat it. So then I ended up giving him chocolates, sometimes talking about chocolates, so I can have a peaceful meeting, like 10 minutes or so. So I'm wondering if you have any advice to change that, change my behavior so I can change the routine that I am creating for the both of us that is not super healthy.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really cool question. Actually, when you start to work with your addiction, you will free the world of addictions. Don't forget that. And that can be part of your motivation. When I tackled my eating habits, first, both my parents stopped smoking out of nowhere. And I went like, said, yeah, I stopped. Yeah, I also stopped. And I knew it was a result of me being tough on my addictions. So yes, if your child plays videos all the time or doesn't eat healthy food, that comes from you. So I'm not sure. Can you just quickly tell me why it bothers you? Is that because you then give him chocolate, or what's your thing about him being picky? Doesn't he eat enough? What's happening with you?
Um, he looks like he fasts. Because he just wants to eat once a day, and he eats a very heavy meal, and then that's it. The rest, he can just eat an apple or a juice, and that's it. And I don't think that's enough. Or my mother mind is always thinking like he should be eating more, or people are telling me that he should be eating more, even if he's super big boy.
Okay. Well, I give you an unconventional answer here, okay? When Emma was small, she had weeks where she would eat nothing at all, very little, for weeks. And everyone like, the child needs to eat. And I went like, okay. And then she had weeks where she would stuff herself. Really, it's like she would eat like all the time. And people said she shouldn't be eating that much. And to be honest, for reasons I cannot explain, must be my old seeds, I have total faith in that child. I've had from the day she came. So I went like, nah, let her in peace. She knows what she needs. If she needs to eat, she needs it. If she doesn't eat for a while, that's also okay. And Emma actually has just no addiction to food whatsoever. I mean, sweets in her room, like she probably still has a chocolate Christmas guy, right, that she hasn't eaten. She's just not attached to food at all. And I think sometimes as parents, we project this like you should do this and that, and not let them find their instinctive eating habits. So personally, I would just trust them and see. Obviously, if it's after a year and they go really thin and it's a problem, right? And all that. Yeah. But if it's a big boy and at the moment he doesn't need much, I would just give him peace and trust him that he knows what he needs, because I believe they know what they need. And that has planted for me a more instinctive eating habit also, that I trust myself to know what I need. which for me was pretty crucial. Because there's no objective. I mean, Geshe would say, we don't actually need any food. It's not food that keeps us alive, it's seeds, right? So why don't you just watch it for a while and just let him decide for himself. That plants a lot of freedom and a lot of trust. And if Emma says she wants chocolate, I just give her chocolate, but she doesn't ask for it. Obviously, if you have a child that asks for chocolate all the time, that means you have to work on your own addiction. But there's nothing in chocolate. So she has a really good way of deciding for herself. And I think that's pretty cool. Do you see what I mean? Perhaps an unconventional answer, but it has worked for me. Okay. Like, for example, I try to eat, there's interval not eating. Yeah, you cannot eat for a while. That worked for me for a while really well. I loved it because then after 4 o'clock, I don't have to think about food anymore. It's just out. It helped me a lot for a while. And now I'm 55, turning 55 very soon, and I realized that my body has changed. And the interval not eating is not good for me. I'd rather have small portions more often. So I don't think there's a right thing. It's more about trust to yourself. And then whatever you put inside will be used in a different way. Okay. I think we have one more question if anyone has. Oh, I wanted to share one thing with you. Wrinkles. If you get older, you might be interested how to get rid of wrinkles. In the All Kinds of Karma, it says, if you give clothes away, you will not have wrinkles. So give clothes. I mean, my mom, she was 80 and she had the skin of a, I don't know, 40-year-old. She was amazing. And she was a second-hand girl. She gave clothes away all the time. And I have. So that makes sense because you give people a new skin. You give them a new skin. So give clothes away. That's the ultimate beauty thing for a nice skin. I did want to say that, yeah. Anyone with a final question? It is actually really cool. Yeah. And then you can give it away and say, may all people feel beautiful. And you see, you can, if you look at someone like Maria Merzel, if you know her, she's one of the most beautiful people I know. And I think she's celebrating it. And I'm so proud of her. Because when you feel beautiful, you can make that a present to the world. Everyone likes to look at someone beautiful. It doesn't have to be negative, to come back to the first point I made. You can offer yourself as beautiful to the world. And then you say, may all people see themselves as beautiful. May there be beauty in the world. And you can dress up, go down the street and give beauty to the world. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually think it's a great Dharma practice. So don't be afraid, don't be shy. Plant beauty. Okay, if you don't have any more questions, that's also fine with me. If you have
Thank you,
any
Eva.
questions, you can always, let's be beautiful together. I agree. You can always, if you do have questions or problems, you can always email me. I can answer. Okay, Alejandra, sorry.
Thank you very much. I think everybody is on away with your class today. It was very powerful, and what we need these days is tools and advices of how we can actually apply the wisdom and the Dharma in every single part of our lives, like beauty and the body. So thank you very much for being here. In behalf of everyone, I think yes, everybody was saying it's amazing class. If may I want to have make some announcements for all of you. At ACI, we always are preparing surprises and new programs and new events around the world. And I am happy to share with all of you that we will have an in-person event this upcoming March in Kyoto, Japan, with Timothy Lowenhub, Errol Burney, Sarah Blackburn, Jenny and Kelly Tan. We will have a special course and yoga and meditation. If you would like to come, there is a QR code. And also, we are preparing another course and program with you for all of you. And the next one is a Diamond Mountain Retreat Center. And I'm very happy to hear that Eva is coming. Yay, Steps on the Path retreat at Diamond Mountain. That will be in April 12 to April 21st. If you cannot come in person, we will have the online option for all of you. Please register. We are very happy to have you all. And the last one is we are, as you can see on my background, we have this new campaign that we started last year. Is the 30-30-30 campaign. And some people might ask, what is the 30-30-30 means? So Geshe Michael promised to finish the Lam Rim in 2030. And then he will give us 100 meditations about Lam Rim. And what we are asking is that everyone who can register and help us to get subscriptions so we can keep these classes for free. We are looking for donors and supporters. If you cannot donate money, you can become an ambassador and help us to reach more people and create awareness of all our programmings. But if you want to hear more about this campaign, please check the QR code. And that's it for today. Thank you so much, dear Eva. It was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, all translators. Thank you, all tech. Thank you, all the participants who share amazing questions today. And see you next time. See you next session of Bringing Wisdom to Life. And let's keep practicing what we learned today and make the beautiful world for all of us. See you next time. Bye.
Mulțumim, Camelia, mulțumim mult.
Mulțumesc, Camelia.
Și eu.
Hi, Christy. Thank you for recording. Thank you, Solesh. Hi, Anna. Thank you so much for helping us. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Tech.